Hey guys, it's the last word. It is Friday, February 6th. We are live on LinkedIn. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook. We're going to be recorded, published on the Chrisman Commentary YouTube. Welcome back to another Chrisman Commentary Presents The Last Word. We got KP getting ready to come on camera. And
baby, let's go.
We have a special guest joining us live from New York, hot off the stage, Mr. Robbie Chrisman. Robbie, welcome, man.
I actually wore this name tag. If you didn't know me, it had nothing to do with being on stage today. But yes, hi everyone. I'm Robbie. How are we doing out there?
We're all good.
Can I tell you the last time I did a podcast with a Chrisman in a tree was your father pulled over at a cemetery outside of Memphis to do a podcast. It was amazing.
We are here in Hamilton, New York. God's breadbasket.
There you go.
Any viewers from Hamilton, New York, hit me up. I'm going golfing after this.
Which by the way, didn't you bike from like New York to Chicago or some crazy thing, Robbie?
A couple times. I got a single speed that I keep either in the New York apartment or Chicago, and I've gone back and forth. It teaches you about wind directions in the U.S. There's a reason going west to east is a faster flight time than going east to west. Turns out the wind blows that way.
And you figure that out on a bike more than anything.
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Hey, Robbie, you got some news for us.
Some news. So, as you people are seeing, depending on the size of my big head here, we have a sponsor for today, Mace Innovation, which I'm very pleased about. Mace has agreed to sponsor 3 shows. We're going to alternate on and off, so they won't be here next week. They'll be there the following week. Very appreciative to them. It means we have an open sponsorship spot for next week. All you people seeing this is your opportunity. But let me talk Mace very quickly, and I'll try and make it so it's not too salesy here. I talked with Chris Mace the other day. It is your stop for Encompass automation tools. They can help reduce origination costs with a full suite, automate the boring stuff, stop wasting countless hours, improve workflow, and master compliance. Forget all that. I was talking to Chris yesterday, and Chris said people don't believe him. Like, it's too good to be true. I don't know how my underwriter could go 2 loans a month or a day to 8 loans a day. They do it with Mace. He is so confident in the product. He's offering it for free.
What?
Month contracts, no commitment. You can start out free. MaceInnovations.com. Check them out. I think there's some good stuff, especially for those of you that use Encompass. So big shout out to them. Thank you very much. And we're very appreciative over here at Chrisman.
That's awesome. It's the pressure now just got leveled up, KP. We now have a sponsor. Now, for all of you that are watching live and getting ready to send snarky comments about the studio backdrop, our head of marketing, he's an amateur, frankly. He's a hack, honestly. He's not a graphic designer, obviously. And so I will fix it for the next show. But Robbie and I tried to work on a little backdrop here for our little live show, and I've got some work to do to right size it, but we'll get it right. So, and I know we will get comments. I already can tell you who's going to comment. I won't call him out here today, but if he does comment, you can bet your ass I will call you out next Friday.
And is there? I'm getting an email or text saying the Zoom link is not working. So obviously we're on StreamYard. So
they need to go to LinkedIn. That's where it's all. That's where it's happening right now, live.
Okay.
Looks like there's a bunch of people in there now, so it's not on the Zoom.
If I this link at the top, StreamYard/IJ599, can I chat that to the Zoom audience, or will that send them to be a panelist with me?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, so I would say no.
Whatever URL is at the top of my page, is that the panelist link, or is that the overall StreamYard?
Give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if we get 10 more panelists hopping in here. Let's see.
All right, I told I think it was Kirk from Halcyon. I texted him. So so good.
Yeah, Chris Willoughby was also texting me, and I'm now using my phone as my camera, so I could not text her back. That would look weird for y'all. So let's dive in, guys. There's obviously a lot going on. Short week.
Recording in progress.
What in the heck is that?
Oh,
Short
the
week
first
going
part
on.
wasn't live, but now we're live.
No, we're live. The we had the Labor Day holiday Monday. We had some news this morning. I will be fully transparent. I've been in a board meeting for a nonprofit that I'm part of all day, so I don't know what's going on in the news, and that's why you two guys are here. KP, what's the latest and greatest?
Well, the jobs report came in a little softer, but there was also downward revisions, over 80,000 jobs on one of the prior months. And so, after that report came out, what was interesting is one of the Fed members, Waller, was speaking, and he said, we're not opposed to pulling some of the cuts forward. And so now everyone's going to be talking about between now and the 18th, whether it's 25 or 50 basis points of the cut.
Yep.
So that and you're watching the 10-year Treasury dip yet again. So you just kind of see these little pegs, these little 20 basis point kind of little channels. They just keep getting lower and lower. I said at the beginning of August that we may never see a 4% 10-year Treasury yield for the rest of this part of the cycle, at least, right? And so, and then last night on my LinkedIn, I said that high mark might be 390. So we just keep kind of getting lower and lower, and so I just want to make a point before we hand over to Robbie. Which, by the way, I love the cap market section, and Robbie owns that. It's my favorite part of the Chrisman blog, and what I'll say is, labor hasn't broken. It isn't breaking, but it's softening, loosening, or weakening. And so there's a big difference. And so, but that trend, you don't know where it goes, how far it goes, where does it end? And so there's a lot of money kind of jockeying around the world, whether it's in foreign exchange, dollar denominated treasuries, mortgage-backed securities, stocks. What the heck's going on? Do we go to cash? Why would you go to cash if you think the dollar is going to get weaker, especially if the Fed cuts? So there's a lot of flow of money, and it's very volatile. And oh, by the way, we have an election coming up. We have no idea who's going to be in the White House. The House is up for grabs. Senate is up for grabs. There's a world war that could kick off at any time in 2 or 3 spots around the world. So there are known unknowns, and then of course there's the unknown unknowns. Who knows? It could be a freaking pandemic around the corner. I mean, I just heard that my place I'm staying at, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, the house is infested with COVID. So Brian, I'm gonna have to crash with you tonight in Detroit before I go watch Texas take on Michigan.
I'm gonna go on record. I'm all about the horns.
So it's Robbie, by the way. Robbie got his friggin' MBA at Texas, University of Texas. Robbie, comments.
I'm a University of California, Berkeley football booster, not a Longhorn football booster. Go Bears. Roll on, you Bears. I do think Texas is going to win tomorrow. We're not going to get into my Texas football fanhood. I got there for the Garrett Gilbert years and saw the worst of Texas football. little meh.
Hey, so Robbie, you're at the New York Mortgage Bankers Conference. You spoke earlier today. I'm sure people think you're in shorts with your jacket and tie just because you're on camera, but no, legitimately, you have pants on. That's a beautiful thing.
That's very, very rare that I do, but here we are.
Give us a little sense for what the vibe was there at the conference this week.
So we had plenty of good sessions over the last couple of weeks. Most importantly, I won the golf tournament. Got some free vodka and some teas and a divot tool. Shout out to me. Part 3 executive course, we did very well. No, both here. I go to Mississippi next week. I was just in Southern California. I saw KP there at Western Secondary. The mood is picking up. It feels like the worst of this mortgage market cycle is behind us. We're on to better and brighter days. There's good things coming. People are optimistic about what's going on. They might be a little out over their skis when they talk about when's the refinance wave. I don't think there's a refinance wave if rates go to 5 7/8% when everybody's got a mortgage between 3 and 4. So I don't think that's coming. But in general, it's, hey, we've right-sized. We've dialed in our tech stack. We think there's going to be an uptick in originations going through the winter into 2025. Fed's started its easing cycle, or should be starting its easing cycle, even if that's already baked into rates. Relief is on the horizon. Better times are ahead. Let's pull in a unified direction. KP, I like the look on your face. You agree? That's what you're hearing too, right?
I kinda. I want to just go back a couple comments. If we do get into the high fives, we've got $3 trillion worth of purchase money in the last two years that are in the money. So it's $3 trillion in refinances. And because there's 50% less loan officers in the business, it's going to feel busy. And so what will be interesting on that refi uptick is the servicers have gotten really good. And some of the biggest lenders are now servicers, they're servicing portfolio first and retention first, right? They're not as much about the originator as they used to be, and I won't name names. But, be interesting to see this battle between servicers and the origin of the loan, the originator, the one that created it out of nothing. It'll be interesting to see how that battle rages on. And I think it will. I mean, look, last month we had a healthy month, just a tad under 800 million, which is good for an August. And then about 18% of that was refinance business, and that's pretty good for us. And so we are seeing more refinances and a higher number in August. And then our locks, we were $1 billion in locks. That was up from July. So we're setting up for what is usually a really crappy month, only 20 days, seasonally not great, especially because people are already back in school. September's setting up to be pretty decent, and there's a nice little refi chunk in there. So it's not a boom. I think we're all spoiled from 20 and 21, but it's definitely meaningful.
Yeah, I want to.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead.
So the KP, I was going to ask, since this is an opinion show, and I will give my opinion next, do we commend Jerome, on an A through F rating scale? How do we feel about the job that Jerome Powell has done? Maybe I'll throw in my opinion before I let you go, and that would be, we're giving him credit for fixing a problem of his own creating. So I'm ambivalent on how I really, it's kind of like a C grade for me.
Okay, and if I was to go conventional wisdom and say they waited too long to start raising, they waited too long to start cutting, I would be in that C camp. But I'm a contrarian. I actually think Dak Prescott's a great quarterback. So
regular season only.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I mean, look, I want to win a championship, but let me just say, there's something about not turning the ball over. And so what I'll say, the reason why Powell waited to start raising and they wait to start cutting is because once you start those cycles, they're pretty much irreversible, and you can't slow down the freight train. It's like moving a fleet of aircraft carriers and trying to turn them. But what I will say is, and I don't think this is conspiracy theory, we have to keep the dollar strong, and he's going to break some eggs. I mean, it's like a president sending, our armed forces to war to protect our freedoms. And this is not a moral equivalence by far, because I put our veterans and our sacrifices above anything. But for his role, his tough decision to make is some people are going to lose jobs. Inflation is going to get out of control. But at the end of the day, they have to keep our dollar, the reserve currency of the world. They have to keep our dollar strong. They have to beat and outsell every other version of treasury around the world. And that means waiting a little bit longer to start raising, and then waiting a little bit longer to start cutting. I give him an A-.
It's pretty generous.
Yeah, he's a good grader. Hey, going back to the servicing conversation, refi, call it a refi the wave, call it a boom, call it a wavelet, a boomlet, whatever you want to call it. So this week I saw a post on LinkedIn talking about a servicer, a particular servicer who I'm not going to name because I don't know the name, that is reaching out to borrowers that they service loans for, but reaching out potentially in a way that represents that they, the servicer, are the actual originating lender. There's some kind of questionable tactics, I guess, that were called out on a LinkedIn post. And I'm just curious, and I've heard this from other people. I've seen it. I've seen evidence of direct mail that people get based on trigger leads and different sorts. I had not yet seen anything from a servicer as much as I'd seen it from other lenders responding to trigger leads. And just really curious if you guys have seen anything like that on the servicing side, where the servicers are sort of maybe blatantly misrepresenting who they are in the eyes of the consumer.
I can handle it, but Robbie, the wind isn't blowing right now, so why don't you get your 2 cents in?
You're the expert here. I don't run a gossip column in the mortgage industry. That's my dad's.
Okay, all right. Well, let me just say this: like, there are some realities to what's being posted online, and there are some things that are happening out there, and I don't think that there are perfect originators, whether for a servicer retention team or a distributor retail or our wholesale channel or a correspondent channel. What I will say is what this really comes down to, and again, this is we buy and sell money. We buy and sell money, right? And so that's not why a lot of us got in the business. We got in the business because we're fostering the American dream. It feels good to put someone in a house. Ryan, you posted that post of your first deal. You helped put someone in the house the other day. I thought that was pretty cool. But behind that beautiful picture is an asset that someone needs to pay off the mortgage-backed securities holders to make them whole on their investment, which is a long-term stable investment. I mean, mortgage-backed securities are seen as a very high-grade investment right behind the U.S. Treasury. And so what I will say is servicers pay a lot of money to pay the originator up front to get that loan and hold it and own it. And they don't want to give it up. And so it's the same as it ever was, right? So, in about 40 minutes, I run my national TPO call where all of our AEs and sales managers and regionals and then our channel directors, Herb and Jay, for our correspondent wholesale channel, get together the first Friday of every month. And we're going to be talking about our EPO policy because a lot of questions about that right now. It's 6 payments, not 6 months, 6 payments. Servicers don't make money if they only have the loan for 6 payments. I mean, they are losing money, but
you could say 12 payments. They're still not making
money.
money.
I saw some policies out there at 12 now, right? And so the reality is when you pay a lot for that asset, you were hoping to hold it. And as a servicer, you want that next refi because your cost of acquisition on a refinance on a servicing portfolio is like a fourth of the cost it takes for all of us to go out and originate and get that loan. So that's the battle, right? So this isn't the exact number, but let's just say it takes $400 a loan for us to support a marketing team and a branch and a whole distributor retail team and an originator to go out and originate that loan to begin with. And then once either we service it or if we sell it off to a servicer, that next refinance, the average cost is about $100. So who has the right there, right? So, the originator is like, hey, we spent a lot of money to get that loan to begin with. I want that next loan. And then the servicer is like, well, too bad. I paid you to get that loan from you. Now it's my asset and mine. And so that battle's going to rage on. And so, there are many tactics and approaches and ways to get down in the weeds and talk about, granular stuff that's going on. I heard this on a phone call, whatever. But what I just said is the way zoomed out, this is the reality. This is the big picture.
I'll add one thing to that. And that is, even if the servicer owns the loan, yes, of course, they're going to be super upset if it pays off at 100 for something they just paid 103 for it a couple months ago. But if you have that good of a customer experience as the originator, if you engender enough loyalty with your client, even if they're getting hit up from somewhere else to refinance the loan, they're still going to come back to you if they like the process, if they like the experience. And so I think that's an advantage that originators have. And fortunately,
with the caveat, Robbie, though, with the caveat that you as the originator have to be actively and meaningfully staying engaged with them. You could have given them the best service of their life. They could have given you the 5 stars and a raving review, but if it's 6 years later and you have done nothing to stay meaningfully involved with them, why would they? They probably aren't even thinking of you. So I agree with you that if you sat, give them an exceptional experience through the transaction at closing, but then you still have to stay meaningfully engaged, not just through a drip campaign from your CRM either.
I think companies like Mace Innovations can really help with that. If you're using Encompass, use Mace Innovations. Boom. Got to plug our sponsor. Check them out.
There we go. Boom.
Hey, look, I got to do one thing, guys. I'm going to do a little KP on you. We're going to move. So
you gonna walk and talk?
I got a little bit of walk and talk.
You're putting on like a fight night between realtors and LOs.
Man. That's what. So somebody in the
I thought you were going to take a bathroom break.
No. That's my morning KP video. Somebody in the peanut gallery commented that they thought I was in a furniture warehouse. I'm not going to name names, Greg. No, I'm in DBG, Downtown Boxing Gym. I'm a board member. We're having our one of our board meetings on site. And yeah, today I'm going to announce, not right now, I'm going to announce in March of 2025, we will be hosting the Michigan Real Estate Rumble. What the heck is the Michigan Real Estate Rumble? It's a fundraiser going to be held right here in DBG, downtown Detroit. Benefits go to the DBG, which is an after-school education recovery program. Awesome group here. But the cool thing about it is there'll be 8 fights that night. Real fights, like real boxing gloves, real people in the ring. And it'll be realtors versus realtors, loan officers versus loan officers. I happen to be here in Michigan. There's a couple big companies here. They may or may not like each other. Maybe some of their people will get in the ring and go at it. We'll see.
Nice.
March 2025, Michigan Real Estate Rumble. Look for more information. Today's the soft launch. And the reason I'm doing the soft launch is now the pressure's on to line up these fights and get this thing lined up and ready to roll. But excited about that.
Love it.
If someone signs a liability waiver, like, are we getting actual mortgage industry employees in the ring?
Yeah. Realtors, loan officers, maybe LinkedIn personalities could go toe to toe. I know a few that I'd like to see knock each other out.
Robbie, while your car's over there getting towed, what's going on over there?
The VP of the warehouse I'm outside of accused me of using their Wi-Fi. So I told him the show's over in 4 minutes, my friend.
Right.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. So
yeah.
So hey guys, one more topic I think is that we should touch on. I think we're 3 or maybe 4 weeks now post NAR settlement. Robbie, what was the talk there at the New York conference around NAR? Is it? I'm hearing a lot of business as usual, kind of a little bit of a nothing burger, but curious what you guys are hearing and seeing.
That's good, because I was going to say I'm sick of all this conjecture about NAR when nothing is changing. There's been so much speculation. I guess there will continue to be speculation. Nothing burger, and even if there is a something burger, we're kind of at the mercy of whatever it evolves to from the real estate agents. And so what's the point in speculating before we get there? I mean, I heard some interesting stuff this week of a la carte, pay by the house tour, pay by the offer. I thought that was interesting. We'll see if that comes down the pike. Big nothing for me. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm sorry to be so shrewd there.
Yeah, and I'll just put a bow on that. I have a team of LOs that I keep asking, ever since this thing went down, what's changing? And they're like, nothing's changed. The seller's still paying. The seller's still paying for the commission for the buy side agent, and nothing has come down. So far, nothing has changed other than, you just have one more disclosure up front. Money grab, lawyers always win in the lawsuits. And then I saw in the news that the plaintiff, the Spitzer guy, he's like, oh, hey, by the way, I've got this thing I've been working all this time, come use my, I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? The fact that the courts can be used to take out, great business owners of real estate companies that have been putting in the work in our neighborhoods all these decades is complete and total bullshit, but whatever.
Well, guys, we made it through another Friday, another week. Anything else, Robbie, before we where'd you say you're going to go and play golf this afternoon? What are you doing?
Go and play golf this afternoon, back to Manhattan tonight for a friend's birthday party in the city. off to Boston for the Real Edge Summit at the start of the week, then down to Mississippi for the Mississippi Mortgage Bankers in Flowood, right outside of Jackson. Don't worry, people, I'm not golfing. I won't take all your prize stuff. That's what I'm up to. Because I have one final word when we're done here. Ask KP what he's up to this week.
I catch a flight.
He's up to. He's coming to the D.
Yeah, I'm coming to the D, and then I watch Texas take on Michigan. Hopefully, see Garth Graham at his tailgate there on the northwest corner of the stadium there at the Big House. And
story for you. So I got into the University of Michigan, and I got into the University of Texas. And Garth to this day doesn't understand why I didn't go to Michigan. I said, Garth, the women aren't as pretty, the food's not as good, and the weather sucks. Don't tell me I should ever have been in Michigan, man. No, thank you. I will see you in Austin. Hook 'em horns. We are rolling over Michigan this weekend. I have no doubt in my mind. No doubt.
Yeah, 7-point spread's not enough. I fly right after the game immediately to the Mortgage Collaborative in Denver, and I'm there till Wednesday, and then I turn around on that Thursday next week and go to AIM Fuse in New Orleans. So I'm road warring it. It's game on right now. It's conference season. I'm right there with you, Robbie.
Typical KP. Well, last thing we're going to do, and I know, Robbie, you probably have one more last word. So, KP, you already picked your game. We know who you got for the week. Just it's one game. You get one game, college or NFL. Kind of pick your lock of the week. KP's got the horns. Robbie, what do you got? It's got to be different.
I'm going Packers to lose. And I think we had Greg Share on, and he said, what do you say? Packers, Ravens, Super Bowl. Both your teams look like garbage. Don't even start with me. Packers to lose this weekend. That's your lock.
Packers to lose is a lock. Okay.
I wish I could say it in Portuguese because they're down in Brazil, I think.
Yeah, tudo bem.
I'm gonna go with the Lions over the Staffords on Sunday Night Football. Some other snarky comment in the here talking about they thought I was in a Detroit Lions championship warehouse and they didn't see any trophies behind me. Accurate, but this is the year of the Lions, baby. We're going to turn it around.
This is the year Dak Prescott doesn't throw an interception in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
No
one's buying that.
No one believes that.
I was going to thank Mace Innovations one more time, but Brian, I was going to say anything you want to add about Chris Mace because you introduced us. He seems like an amazing guy before we get out of here.
Yeah, so I met Chris a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I've been following him, and we kind of knew each other, I guess, on the internet. But he and I participated in a cohort, a little social selling cohort, and so we got to know each other through that. And great guy. I love what he's doing. I love the business there. Such a huge value, especially when companies are looking for maybe some variable cost work versus FTEs. Great guy, great company, great work, and now a great friend of The Last Word.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been a great contributor, to our community online on LinkedIn too. He's always thoughtful in his responses, and he's fully engaged. So gotta love that. Part of the tribe.
Close us out, Robbie.
That is The Last Word. Thank you for having me. Appreciate what you guys are doing. Appreciate the LinkedIn audience joining and the Zoom people bearing with me while we're working out some technical stuff. We'll see everybody next week.
Hey, wait, Zoom people. You know who you are. Get on LinkedIn. Come on, watch the show on LinkedIn so we don't have to do this Zoom thing anymore. Yeah. You know who you are. See you guys next week.
Cheers. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.